Hey everyone, welcome to the Hey Biz Buds podcast, where six business buddies come together to chat about anything under the sun. But in the spirit of trying something new, we've got solo sessions now, so that each of us get to practice doing solo episodes. Something that not all of us actually have exposure to, so that includes me. Okay, so anyway, my name is Liana, and in my solo episode today, I want to talk about something that is quite dear to my heart, and that is about the power of mindset. So, mindset is actually my word of the year in 2024. Um, I think yeah, so I mean, just to introduce to you about this word of the year thing, like Rini actually introduced this concept to all of us. So whereby we have this word of the year and we actively work towards it, okay, work around it. Okay, so this year I decided, okay, I'm gonna be talking about mindset. Okay, I'm gonna be focusing on my mindset. Now, I'm not quite sure when my fascination with a mindset actually came about. Um, I think I mean I've always been interested in like the whole like psychology kind of thing, but I think it was only in 2022. Okay, it was only in 2022 where I finally like let's do something about it, okay, because all my life the thing about me is all my life I've been facing like really bad self-esteem. I suffered from like crippling self-doubt, right? So I didn't believe in myself. I will have all these like toxic thoughts, right? Because when you have like really bad self-esteem issues, naturally this will spiral out into toxic behaviors, self-sabotaging behaviors. Yeah, yeah, it was quite bad lah. It was quite bad. So I realized that after running my business like Lucas and Creatives for they've been running it since 2017. So after running it for 5 years already, 2017, 2022, yeah. That was about 5 years already. I was wondering like, hey, I'm not getting anywhere. I mean, yes, of course, I had like really good jobs. I mean, I had good opportunities. I mean, I taught at NTUC. I got invited by Apple. I got, all these corporate classes and what have you. But but I felt that there could be more that could be done. I knew that I had this not really talent. I knew that I had something in me that I could do more for the world, for the society, but something was just holding me back. And when it came to my business, I wasn't confident about myself, right? So a lot of it, I only try to play safe, right, most of the time. So what happened was, I didn't have like a stable income back then. Every month like, oh, okay, I have this amount, then that's that. Then I will like just try and work around it. I didn't want to try new things. So I realized in 2022, after 5 years of doing this, I was like, okay, no, this cannot go on. I need to do something about it. I need to take an active step to, improve and like really maximize my potential. So that's when I started to explore, right? I started to explore about this whole mental health thing. So, of course, the first thing that I wanted to target was my self esteem issues. Okay. I think growing up, I didn't really grow up in a really good childhood. So it did affect me quite a bit. I did have quite a traumatic childhood in a way. So I feel like that actually impacted my self-confidence in a bit. So in 2022, I decided to really work on like healing myself. And that's when I went to therapy. I seeked out therapy. I went to a lot of types of therapy actually. I went for counseling sessions. I tried out like hypnotherapy. I tried out like cognitive based therapy. Tried out like solutions based therapy. What have you? So, yeah, I really wanted to see how could I like do better. So, after this, so it was since 2022, right? Up till now, there has been a whole lot of change. I think if you had to ask I mean, it's not just me. It's not just me. I think even if you ask my friends, my family, my husband, I've got them telling me like, okay, now this is like a different side of you. You know, I'm so happy to see like this change, right? So it really kind of um yeah, I did change, and that was really from the product of these 2 whole years of working on myself. So I thought that okay, I'm gonna talk about this in this podcast today. So because in hopes that maybe the one who's listening, maybe you had issues as well. You've always been like having like frustrations, like you can do better, but something is holding you back, like you are scared, you don't think you can do it. So I hope that by me sharing whatever that I've shared, my story, it can help you. Okay, it can help you to grow. So of course, at this point of time, it's just been 2 years. This whole like healing thing, right? It's gonna be like a lifetime. It's gonna be a whole journey, lifetime journey. So at times I do have my ups and downs as well, but it's not like last time where I will like if the moment I get stressed, I would just not want to do anything for a few days and yeah. Okay, so yeah, so what let me just share with you like three things, right? Three things that actually help me a lot. Okay, and I think might actually help you as well if you're facing the same issue. So the first thing that I feel was very important, okay, was to actually be self-aware. Be aware of the problem that you are facing. So for me, I knew that I was aware that this whole self-esteem issues, this whole toxic behaviors, self-sabotaging behaviors was a problem. And if I wanted to get further, I knew that I needed to address it. Okay. I also knew that so back then I will always be taking up courses. I love to learn. I love to like go for courses. I love to go for like coaching sessions. I'll sign up for so many different types of coaching sessions. But I always realized that, whatever that they taught me, in the end, I will not do it because I realized that is a mindset issue, right? I realized that I need to stop going to all these coaching sessions and instead work on my mindset issue first, because if my mindset is not right, all this will not happen. So I knew that that was a problem. This whole mindset, this whole mental health kind of thing. Okay, I knew that there was a problem. So for you, you need to be aware of what is your whether there is a problem in the first place, right? Also, I think along my journey, I mentioned just now, I actually went for hypnotherapy. Okay, I went for hypnotherapy, I went for counseling. Okay, so if you don't know much about hypnotherapy, you might want to go and read up about it. It's quite interesting. It's actually basically the person will kind of like put you in a hypnotic state, and then you get to go to like your past, right? Your past traumas. It will help you to address like your past traumas. So I went for like all this hypnotherapy. I went for like counseling as well. Counseling helps a lot. I think before this, people will always ask me. Well, I will always hear this: why should you go for counseling? You should just talk to your friends. You should just talk to your husband, your wife, your family member. Why counseling when you can just go for this? So that's the thing, right? When you are Okay, I think for me, I did try and tell my loved ones, my close ones, about whatever issues I had in my head, like, but in the end, like, it felt like I was burdening them, because these thoughts were quite recurring, right? Back then. So this really negative thoughts were recurring quite a fair bit. So of course, if when I tell like a close one, I keep telling the same thing, of course they will not, after a while, you just like, okay, I feel a bit embarrassed lah, a bit shy lah. Like, he keep on like burdening this person with like my worries. Somehow you're also like transferring negative energy to them, which I don't like, right? So when you have a therapist, right? When you go to a counselor, they want to listen, right? They want to help you and they are equipped to help you. Okay, so there's one less worry there that, oh, I am troubling this person, right? So that was for me lah, at least. Okay. Maybe it's different from other people. Maybe you already have like a strong support system, who's like well trained to listen, and yeah, that's great for you. But for me, I felt like I needed someone. I didn't want to burden the close ones around me, and also, I mean, like, I like to use this analogy, right? Like, if you have what's this called, tooth decay, right? If you have tooth decay, would you continue like just brushing your teeth? No, right? Sometimes you will probably need to see a professional, to help out with that decay, right? So it's the same thing, right? So when I went to a counselor, so I really shared like my darkest, deepest thoughts, and were like so toxic, and I just had no worry like about this person caring, because I'm sure they're used to it, right? So I would tell them all these really, really bad, deep, like negative thoughts, and somehow the counselor will patiently just like try and help you to reframe it, and that helped. Okay, that helped. So I think just now I mentioned that I grew up in not a very good childhood. So I had really bad childhood issues, and then I think the one thing that she brought up that was like kind of like shifted my whole perspective was she was saying that all this while I kept blaming my childhood issues for not progressing, for not going further. But what about the good things that came out of it? I mean, of course, it's not good, right? That you are like that thing happened. But how about trying to focus on what it made you become? So someone who's more empathetic, right? Someone who is kind. Okay. So because you went through all that. So that was like a whole a major mindset shift for me. So that's also like the power of going for someone, a professional to do it. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, first thing is to have self acceptance. Okay. Being no, not self acceptance. Sorry, that's the third one. So first thing is to be self aware. Okay, be aware of the issues that you have, and be willing to work on it. All right. So secondly, would be self acceptance. So throughout this whole journey of discovering myself, I also stumbled upon like the fact that I was actually ADHD. I had ADHD. Yeah. So yeah, when I spoke to this psychologist, right? So we kind of like diagnosed me for ADHD, and that made a lot of sense, right? Because a lot of my self-confidence issues also was yeah, it was made even worse because of my lack of focus, my inability to focus at work, and all like my impulsive decisions and so on. So when I finally found out, like, oh, okay, I actually have ADHD growing up, it put in a lot of things into perspective, and from there, I I I instead of like focusing on my weaknesses, then now that I know, like, oh, this is my issue, All right. Instead of focusing on my weakness, now I actually focusing on my strengths. Like for example, for ADHD, the strengths, our strengths is we're able to be very creative, right? And so on. So instead, I like to work on that. I like to focus more on that. So when you are accepting of your weaknesses, of your strengths, right? And you don't put judgment on yourself. I think that is very, very freeing. Um, I think this was one of the key things that actually helped me in what I did in shaping my thoughts after that, right? Being accepted. Like all this while, I will always wonder, like, oh no, why is it that I would take like one whole day, right? I would sit down in the morning, I would work, I would go to work, right? Go to the office at like 7:30 a.m., 8 a.m. before everyone else comes. But then I cannot do work. I will get distracted all the way until like towards the end, right? So this while when I see other people do it, like they can just like sit down and straight away just do deep work. But for me, I couldn't, had to take like one whole day just to like really focus on work. So those kind of things, after I realized that, oh, I actually have ADHD, it put into perspective of that, right? So I was like, okay, that means for deep focus work, I might take a bit longer, and that is okay. All right. But I know that and that is okay, right? But I know that I will actually pull through in the end. So I just need to add a bit more time. All right, if let's say when it comes to deep work. So that's how I kind of work around my strengths and my weakness. So weaknesses is the focus, but when it comes to the strengths part though, I get to I know that I'm creative, right? I know that I can teach better. So I focus a lot on that. Okay, so that is the second one, self-acceptance. So the first was being self-aware, being aware of your issues. Secondly is the self-acceptance. And thirdly is your self-talk. Okay, so you need so a huge chunk of your your actions, right, is also based on the quality of your self-talk. I realized last time I would beat myself up if I don't do something, right? If I don't do something right. Okay. And when I beat myself up, it will kind of like make it negative throughout, and I'll just feel so lousy about myself. This is actually this is actually a very common thing, but people don't actively do it. Like for example, I mean, if your friend were to do a mistake, right, you wouldn't like scold them all the way. Like you wouldn't scold them like really badly. You'll be kind to them, right? So why is it that we're not kind to ourselves? And I realized that when I started to become kinder, a lot kinder to how I talk to myself, it's like, oh, okay, I felt more confident. I felt a lot more confident. Like the self belief was just through the roof lah. Okay, so really you need to assess like what is your quality of self talk. Okay, and just really try to catch. You need to be very aware, because like for example, the other time I was scrolling through Instagram, and then after I saw this person, this really amazing speaker, he was sharing his video, and I was like, oh my god, I can never do that. Wow, he's so good, I can never do that. And then I was like, and I was like, wait a minute. Like, okay, that's not, no, that is him. I'm sure I can do that as well. I can do that in my own way, right? So it's really like those, because you kind of like program, your whole life for that kind of thought, right? So it's going to be quite hard, but yeah, you need to really be aware of your negative self talk. Okay. And yeah, so speak kindly to yourself. So those are the three things. Be aware of what's the problem, what's the issue. Secondly, be acceptive. Accepted? Be accepting of who you are. Be accepting of who you are, of all your faults, of your weaknesses, of your strengths. And lastly, be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself as to how you talk to yourself. Okay. Yeah. So those are the three things that really, really help me a lot. And I'm gonna say this, it's not going to be smooth sailing all the way. Like just because I went for therapy, I went to this for the past 2 years doesn't mean that oh I'm like fully healed. No. So it comes and goes, and it's like, you yeah, just because you have like high confidence and all that, it doesn't mean that you won't feel low. No, okay. So you need to always keep working on this. All right. So that is what I have for you today in my episode. I hope that was useful for you. And what else? Okay, and yeah, so let me know what you think. If you want to connect with me, you can connect with me on Instagram or on LinkedIn. Just find for Liana Ahmad, and yeah, and also follow Hey Biz Buds podcast. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next episode. So thank you so much. See you. Bye.